Who wants a pot of coffee? I just made coffee. You want a cup of coffee? Sure, there you go. Who wants coffee? Anybody else want coffee? Who wants coffee?
And now it's time for the man with the caffeine, the new tropics for the brain. It's Coffee with Mike. Hang in, hang tight, grab your cup, and let's get this thing started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Java Chat. It's Coffee with Mike here, and I get to sit with a colleague, somebody who actually works in the marketing realm and works with some pretty powerful deals. Please welcome to Java Chat, Khaled Maziad. Khaled, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's I don't always get to have marketing guys on Java Chat. Half of it is because everybody wants to talk about their stuff, but
yeah.
yours came across as pretty interesting. So I'm sure we're gonna get some good stories out of it. And it's a joy to know that ZC Media booked your podcast with us, which is great. That's for those of you that don't know who that is. It's a podcast tour booking company. You ever want to get on podcasts, like things that are relevant for you, go talk to them. You see the links down below later. I guess I'll throw that in there. I don't always say that, but it's something that's new. Give us an idea, brother, where you at, where you're from, how'd you get to where you are today? Let's hear the spiel.
Absolutely. So I'm originally from Egypt, by the way, and I live in Sydney, Australia. And I'm a civil engineer. And I started like online back in 2015 or 16. And at that time, all I was trying to do is just trying to figure out this internet thing and how to make this work. And I'm a very shy person and don't like to talk that much to people. So I was trying to find a way to do something online. And the first thing that I started doing was investing, trading, and I started doing trading because that you don't need to talk to anyone. You don't need to, you just gotta mind your own business and do your thing. And since I was teenager, I have been fascinated with understanding human behaviors, what makes people tick, what makes people want to do something. And when I started trading, and I'm a very I'm engineering background and I'm very data and follow things. And I started to notice my emotions was rising. I said man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that this is totally affected by what's happening, and stock is going up, stock is going down, and I started to go deep down into that route on discovering more about how this thing works and why I feel so emotional at a certain point.
Yeah.
And how does it really work? And then I discovered this whole thing called trading psychology thing. And that was I was a kid in a candy shop.
For an engineer to all of a sudden start looking at psychology.
Exactly. And for me, I was obsessed with psychology, but not that much.
Yeah.
When I was young, I remember I was reading a lot about it, but then I forgot about it. I was focusing on my work. And then when I started to discover how really emotions guide us, and I don't care people say oh, I'm a very rational person and I gonna do make decisions and I rationalize and they put plan A and plan B and plan C. As Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they go to lunch.
Right.
And then I started to learn more about that. And then I started doing, so I was losing money at first and it was crazy.
Sure.
And then after I started to understand trading psychology, started to regulate that. And then everything started to click to me, start to make money again, so everything started to work well. And it's not hey, the real deal is in psychology.
Oh yeah.
This is the missing piece of this is what people don't understand. So I said, okay, like I want to teach people how to do that. I want to help people. I started to talk like even like to traders, like I talked to Tom Pastor, like he's a very popular trader.
Yep.
And I started teaching that. And then I discovered that you can't just go there and tell people, hey, I'm an expert. I have these cool things. It sounds simple, like, everyone's like, like I just gonna say that and people have a problem and then you're gonna tell them this and then they're gonna buy. Like, how hard is that? And then I discovered like I was doing like all the content marketing thing, everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And people like were coming and say, oh man, like your stuff is great. That's awesome. I never heard about that before. But no one was buying, like, and I said like, man, this is like, there's something wrong here. What am I doing wrong? Like I'm putting all the information right. I'm giving like the best, like you say, like give your best content. At that time, Gary Vee like was just to give your best stuff and do every day and publish everywhere. And then, like I said, look, there is something wrong. Like I just need to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I start to look in marketing. And I started to see, I need to learn marketing. I need to understand marketing to sell my stuff too. And then this for me, like everything started to click when I said like, marketing too is about emotions. Yep. It is not just, you can't just tell people, because for me, I was very intellectual guy. Always like, hey, like if I'm gonna tell you have a problem and here is a solution, so you're gonna say, hey, like that's awesome, give me a solution. Thank you so much.
Maybe for the logistical thinking, but even then, they also have emotion.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then like I started to learn copywriting, and that like started to open everything for me. When I thought like, oh my god, like this is whole thing. Completely. At that time, I remembered a very interesting story that happened with me. That was like so many years ago. I went to the dentist. Before that, I woke up one day and my teeth like was hell, pain, and I can't sleep, I can't eat. And I did what every man does when they have like toothache. I just ignored it. Like,
why are we like this? Why do we do these things to ourselves?
I have no idea. I said like, no, it's gonna be okay. There is no problem. It's gonna go by itself. Like,
Right.
First day, second day, third day, nothing. And then by the second week, my like gums start to bleed and start to swallow. It was like horrible.
Oh yeah.
I tried like everything, like painkillers. I tried like salt and water.
Sure.
All of the things that you can imagine, and nothing was working. And it came to the point that I went to a meeting. I had a meeting with a client at that time, and I went to the meeting and I couldn't talk.
Oh.
And I said, hey, like, this is like was my breaking point. I have to go to the dentist. I went to the dentist. So the guy, I want to see the dentist. He said, no, you need to have an appointment. I said, there is no appointment. I'm gonna see the dentist right away. He said, like, oh, like you gotta wait. And I waited like for 3 hours there. And then finally I go to the guy, and then I started telling him, okay, like, so I have this thing. I did my research. I'm an engineer. I did my research. I just need an antibiotic. I think it's just like an antibiotic. I can't buy an antibiotic without prescription. So just give me a prescription for antibiotic. Everything gonna be okay. Thank you so much.
In other words, Khaled was being a man.
Yeah. Like, exactly.
What I need, Doc. I'm good.
yeah, I'm good. Like, don't worry. Like, don't tell me. I know what I want. Like, you don't tell me what to do.
You're just a dentist. You're just a dentist. Just give me the script. Yeah. Let's go.
And he said, like, that's really interesting. So you think it's just gonna go with antibiotic? I said, yeah, it's just an infection. I said, like, this is an infection. What else can it be? It's just an infection.
Oh, I'm waiting for the dentist to come back.
And he said, okay. He said, like, can I check it out at least before I write you anything?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, sure. He checked it out. He said, okay. And said, what did you try? Oh, I said, man, I tried everything. Like I tried Panadol, I tried painkillers, like I took everything. Like I tried like home remedies, like, like my grandma told me, do this, and do that. Nothing was working. I said, like, I don't know. He said, yeah. He said, okay, so here's the deal. It looks like you think it's just an infection. The problem is it is not an infection. It's something called root canal.
Oh no.
At that time I had no idea what root canal is. So I said, okay, well, what does it mean? And then he started explaining to me what root canal is. And he said, okay, so what we need to do right now? And he said, the problem with the root canal that it can, the effect is not only on your teeth, but it actually can reach your heart and you might have a heart attack. And I said, oh my goodness, I just came to take an antibiotic. And I said, okay, so what can we do? And he said, like, there's something called like root canal treatment, and it takes like 3 sessions, 3 to 4 sessions, depends. I said, okay, like how much does it cost?
Oh boy.
It cost that much. It was a lot of money. But I said, okay, like when can we start? And he said, like, okay, like if you book today, but we can start like after tomorrow, something like that.
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. Like let's do it. I didn't remember really this story until I started doing like marketing. I said, like, this guy was selling me without selling anything. And this is when I started to realize that actually selling, if you follow the same process, that's what the dentist exactly did with me. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't trying to convince me of anything. He wasn't trying to prove to me that like, like he was trying to threaten me or anything. He just told me that. He told me the mechanism of my problem. He gave me an insight, which I came after that to the formula. We talked about this, but I got the NTBT formula. It's not this, but that. So you think it is an infection, but it's actually a root canal. And I realized that the base thing is to give someone an insight. And when you're able to give someone an insight by shifting their reality from what they think the problem is, to show, okay, like you think the problem is this, but actually this is not the problem. It is just a symptom to the problem. The real problem is deeper than that. And then you start to explain that. Now the other person is asking you, how can we solve that? And this is where like everything started. I started since then. I became fascinated with that. I said, like, and this is the thing that I want to start doing from now on. I just want to keep doing that for my life, because it wasn't just it the psychology plus you are helping people, what I call reality shifting marketing. You are shifting the reality, because the biggest problem is when someone is coming to you and you are trying to like hard selling, or are trying to push them, you're trying to push benefits or even like features, and you're trying to push everything that you can. But the problem is they are not looking for that. They are looking to way to understand their problem in a deeper way. After that, they gonna realize, okay, like they're gonna ask you, how can I solve that? Like I asked it, like I said, okay, like, oh my God, like this is, are you telling me, like, are you telling me now this is like, I'm gonna have a heart attack? And that was like 30 something at the time. So like, you're telling me I'm gonna have a heart attack because my teeth, like this is crazy.
That's basically from code yellow to code red in about 2 seconds.
Exactly. So like this is an interesting thing too, because it went like, this is what something that I talk about. It's at first it was green. The first like stages, you need to know which stage. At first, like the first day I had that was green. Like I said, okay, it's gonna go by itself. It's gonna be okay. It started to be yellow, but I still like, it's just gonna be like.
Meanwhile, the red flags in the background going, hey.
Exactly. And then when like the red flag started and said like, okay, like I said, this is real. this is
every human does this. This is the funny part, is that it's not an exclusive thing to a gender, or anything. It's a human thing. We all do it. You know, it's not that big a deal. Like, we'll fix it, or just hang in there. And this goes for business or life, period. What Khaled is explaining is, you have, as humankind, we have this thing where it's like, it'll be fine. Just leave it alone. It'll be fine.
I gonna sort it out. Like I gonna do it myself. Like I don't need to learn any. I just did my research. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, the engineers are the best at it. I know.
Yeah.
I've already seen it.
I've seen this before. I know. Those guys gonna exaggerate, and they're gonna tell me this and gonna tell me that, and it's just simple thing. It's just it happened before, and I had just taken like this pill, and everything went well. And like that was a great like lesson for me. Is not only about marketing or psychology, but great lesson that so the first lesson that I learned, that just being an expert is not enough.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So because you understand your subject very well, or because you understand something very well, that doesn't mean you can just go out there and sell it to people. The second thing is understanding the importance of how to give someone an insight and shift the reality. Because like the main reason why people don't resonate or don't buy or don't like feel that, as you said, like move from yellow to red, that they are not sold.
Yeah.
How severe the problem is.
They don't get it yet.
Exactly.
That's huge.
And once you give them the insight, and once you explain it in a way that they really can resonate with it, and they really can understand, oh, okay, like now I get it. So it's not this, but that. And I have been trying to solve the symptom for 2 weeks, sometimes for 1 year, for 2 years. I spending all this time trying to solve the symptom and ignoring the root cause of the problem. And now you're telling me there is a solution for that. Like, sign me up.
Exactly. It's one of the most interesting things to see a person, anybody, psychologically, go from one side to the other and switch from, I think I got it, to understanding, wow, there's a lot more going on here than I thought. And sometimes it takes a set of outside eyes like ours. This is cool. I'm sure there's some cool stories. We're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and when we come back, we'll hear some of these things that inspired Khaled as he went along in his journey, and some of the other things that go along with that. Give us about 30 seconds. We'll be right back. And we're back here at Java Chat with Khaled Maziad. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Sweet. With my last name, that's why I call myself Coffee with Mike. A lot of people have a hard time with my last name, but I just leave it. Just call me Coffee with Mike. It's easier, or more Mike, whatever works. Khaled was talking a little bit about how I've been digging into the psychology of humanness more than just the psychology of marketing, because they go hand in hand, obviously. To get somebody to move from a green light to a red light and realize they want to get back to a green light, that takes a little bit of talking. You got to a point where you were finally understanding it. Where did it go from there?
So at that time, I started, at that time, I was like doing, at the beginning, I started to do like copywriting without knowing this is called copywriting. So I started like, because I was just like modeling things that I was saying, but I didn't learn, I didn't know that's called something called copywriting, or like right. There is something behind it. Mm-hmm. I just like know like, oh, like you just need to talk to people and just share content, and this is what you need to do.
If it were only that easy.
You like just share content everywhere.
Like, everywhere. Plaster it all over the place.
Just wake up in the morning and keep pumping content out there, and people will come, and no one was coming.
Well, they'll come, but whether or not they buy is a different story.
and that's true. And that's really interesting, because I had a story about that. When at that time, like I was helping someone, and it was just still casually, like I was doing my thing, like training psychology at that time. And I just like had some friends when I started, like I started selling, and I started like, I started to learn like how to get people, how to talk to people, how to attract people, and started to become interesting. And some people like would come, oh, like, can you look at my like web page? Can you look at my thing? I said, okay. And I had this friend, like, and I was talking to her, and she said, like, man, like, I don't know what's happening, but every time I post content, I get so many comments. I said, that's great. The problem is they're all broke. And I don't understand like why, like they are always like that. Like, I don't know. I said, that's really interesting. I said, like, the biggest problem is attracting people. So I don't know. Like I said, let's have a look on what you're doing. And she was literally saying in the copy itself that she was sharing, like, I know that you might be like in a tough financial situation. And she was describing like, and you might be in debt and you might do that. And this is like, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And said, wait a minute, like you are calling them out.
Yep.
Said, what do you mean I'm calling them out? I said, like, you are talking to people who are in debt. I said that we were all in debt at some point in our lives, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think, but if you're trying to do like high sales to high tickets to people who are broke, like it's almost impossible. Like why is that? Like, and in the copy itself, and then I said, okay, like, you know, like everyone has an avatar and this thing. I don't like do it that way, but yeah, like, and I'll ask you, like, can you show me like the questionnaires that you're answering for the avatar thing? And her avatar like was broke, in debt, and they are financially stressed, and they don't have money, they're living by. And I said, yeah, here's a problem. Your avatar is a problem.
Yeah.
Because you are, it's not about the copy itself. You can say anything about you want, but the problem that the person who you are talking to is the problem.
Yep.
And then she said, that makes sense. Yeah, because I am telling them about they have that. I'm telling them about this. And she was telling me, like, I thought like whenever I'm gonna sell my thing, like people will be lining up waiting for me to buy, and then like people would say, yeah, that's really interesting, that's so cool, I really want to do it, but I really can't do it. And like, I know, like, you know, like in marketing, some people say, oh, like people, they can figure out money. Yeah, and that's true, but sometimes like there are people really in tough situations and they can't really do something about it. And if you are trying to like to sell high ticket and targeting those people, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, you're wasting your time for sure.
So this was one of the biggest like aha that I gave to someone, like, was like just starting shifting your avatar. Sometimes it's not about like write amazing or free or now, like, because people sometimes when you say like look at my headline, look at my thing, they just think like gonna get, okay, if you just put amazing or awesome instead of like instant or something, this is what's gonna change the copy and everything gonna go. It's deeper than that. It's not just about, sometimes yeah, one word can do something, but it's not gonna change like the market.
Right.
If your avatar is completely wrong, if you're talking to someone completely wrong, there is nothing gonna solve that. Like, even if you're gonna give it for free, and that's the only thing they're gonna take from you. So this was really interesting, because you also realize that it is not just about the product. It's not just about your offer. Yeah, your offer can be really good and really cool, but if you are trying to sell real estate to people who like, yeah, there are some offers that you can help people who don't have money and anything. But if you're trying to sell like 10,000 or 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, something, like, why are you targeting someone who can't really afford that at all?
Exactly. There was a thing that I learned from one of my old sales coaches. And he was one of those guys who was good at overcoming objections. And he says, I want you guys to be real clear on something. There is a difference between an objection and a condition.
Exactly.
An objection is something that's just basically saying, I'm not clear on what it is that you're offering. that you can work on in your copy. A condition is something that they cannot control, like they broke. If they broke, that's a condition. You're not overcoming that, no matter how many different angles you look at. Like you said, if your avatar is set up to look for people that are in financial hardship, you're not getting much more than a couple bucks out of them. And then you're going to need a lot of them. Then you're going to have some massive results in order for them to continue staying with you.
Exactly.
Versus a high ticket sale where your target is somebody that actually has some kind of financial stability or some kind of financial wherewithal. They're not broke, in other words. And I even had to fix that a couple of years back because I was noticing that a lot of the guys I was pitching, I was like, man, this guy's broke. I could hear it the moment about halfway through, I'd catch it and be just like, this dude ain't got no money. I can't help him. He's not going to be able to pay me for what I do. And it becomes a realization where you sit there and go, all right, where's the problem? It's not in the copy. Otherwise he wouldn't be here. Or maybe it is the copy. And then I took a look at that and I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of talking to the broke people. So we had to switch a lot of stuff up. Systems, the way it's said, the way it's set up, the flow, all of that stuff needs to be able to take somebody to a point where they're like, I'm not going to be able to afford this, and they step out. Or someone steps in and goes, no, I can afford this. This would actually be good. Yeah. So
the problem with that is sometimes you're going to be working on the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? That this person might be thinking that, like it is the way that I'm handling objections. And like there are some people telling you like, like people gonna buy everything. Like some people really can't buy anything.
Yeah, just the way it is.
and I can't understand like the mentality of trying to sell to people who really can't buy and to try to all the objections and handling all the objections, that you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. Like it's not like, why are you putting yourself like I just forgot who said it, but he was saying like, if I really want to win, I will find every single situation that will put the odds in my favor. And one of the things that will put the odds in your favor is to target the right people who can really afford that. Not trying to sell to someone who really can't afford it and then try, now I need to master objection handling, and I need to learn how to say. And if you say, I want to think about it, you tell them, what exactly do you want to think about?
Yeah. No. Most times, and I'm quite sure that you address this, most times your copy will address most of the objections if you do it right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should be marketing. And I read an article a long time ago. If I ever find it again, I'll send it to you. But it's marketing and sales, the twins that were separated at birth. And what they related it to was these two twins both have the same job. They both intend to make something happen, make a change in a business or person's life. Depending on the maturity of either one or the other can actually take care of most of the selling before it actually gets to the sales.
Exactly.
And it's always been my thing that too. It's just like marketing and sales, although they're at odds a lot of times. Well, marketing won't say this. Well, we can't say that because you guys sell it and we don't have it in operations and we get our butts chewed out, corporate version. But when you look at it, and marketing goes, well, look, we can put out all these benefits. We can talk about all of this stuff. So all you guys are is picking up the phone and going, how can I help you? And take an order. So if there's enough of a if there's enough of a preparation on one side, and like you said, the avatar has to be right, even though not everybody likes doing avatars. You need to know who you're talking to. You need to know how to talk to them, and then to get them to understand. Doesn't matter what your objections are. This is going to be the solution that you want, at least to try, and then bring them to the table. Is that about right?
That's a great point, because I believe also it's not just about who is your avatar, but who is not your avatar. Sometimes is very important. Sometimes I want to write things that will push certain people away. Because I don't want them to. This is not for them. Because as we said, you wanted to try, because what most people are trying to do, they are trying to get someone from like a very bad situation, horrible situation, and they are trying to take it like make him become a millionaire. Now that's amazing and cool, and it might happen, and it happened before, but it's very hard to duplicate that every time.
Yep.
What's easier is to find someone who is somehow there. He's already there. He just need to tweak a couple of things. So if someone already has clients or has a list, so like let's say like if you want to work with someone, like, and don't get me wrong, we all started with no list, with no one. We all start like that. But
Yep.
I mean, if you're gonna promise someone like, oh, I gotta help you like make this amount of money in 30 days, you're gonna have a higher probability if you want to give like this claim. If you have someone who is already having an offer, having a list and something, and then you just need to tweak a couple of things and make it happen. And instead of taking someone, oh, like I'm gonna take someone who has no list, no product, nothing, and I'm gonna take them from this place to make X $1,000
Yeah.
in this amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's even like it's not just about excluding people. It's about putting the odds in your favor and in their favor so you can succeed. And the more you succeed, if they succeed, you succeed with them.
Oh, sure. Yep, absolutely. I do have, my business partner and I have a chuckle here and there about some of those guys, because they take the 0 to hero approach, and it's like there's no sustainability on the back end when we look at their models. It's like just continuously go out and sell. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna flop after a while. But at the same time, it's the point is well made. If you're going to go after something, you need to know what you don't want. Golly, that goes for relationships too. Just saying, you need to know what you don't want, and you need to know what you do want, and then you need to know what they do want and don't want. So
Exactly.
it's a split tree down every avenue. You got to know, what is this client after, whether that's a small business or a corporate. Corporations have way bigger decision trees of what they want and what they don't want. And if you're not ready for that, no amount of copy is going to make it any better.
Nothing.
Yeah. So
and you got to be ready to say no to people.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Holy crap.
You got to be ready to say, like, I remember like I jumped on the phone with someone and she started talking, and within like the first 2 minutes,
you knew
that
you knew already.
we are not getting anywhere from here. And they said, hey, I just want to be mindful. Your time of my time.
Yeah.
You're just, because she's like, I was doing many things, and she said like, we're just chatting like on Facebook quickly. And then she said, okay, like let's book a call and do this. And some, like, like tell people fill application, and sometimes people say something in the application, then once you start talking to them, they say something.
Everything's different. Yeah.
Are you worried? Oh, no, I don't have clients. But you said like you have already. Oh, like I got some clients, but they are just working for free or something like that. And said,
That's
okay,
not a client. That's a friend.
That's a friend. Exactly.
Not a client.
And then I said like, yeah, hey, here are some resources that can help you, because here's a problem, because like, I work with many transformational entrepreneurs, or whether like in transformational coaches or like therapists.
The love and light crew, the ones that like to manifest money.
Yes. and the problem with that, they have the problem that they gotta help everyone.
Yeah.
And it's very bad thing
Oh, yeah.
to tell people like, I can't help you, or like I can't really help you, or
It's not good karma.
It's not good karma, or like I'm not really a good person because someone doesn't have, so it doesn't mean. Like I had a client once, like she's amazing at what she was doing, and she was like helping someone within like 2-3 sessions sort out the thing, but her session was like 6 hours.
Wow.
And and then she was sending them one session at that time, and then she gave them like 2 extra sessions, like integration and things, and they said, so why are you doing that? Oh, but we need to have an integration. I said, okay, integration is part of the offer. This is not
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so now, so when we started breaking down the offer letter, we changed it that, but I mean like, like you got paid like $1,000 for one session or something. That doesn't mean you're going to work for lifetime for them because they paid you. And this is another problem people have, that we say, okay, like if someone pays you for something, that means they own you.
Yeah.
Or now you need to be clear. They need to be, you need to be clear and they need to be clear. Okay, you gotta say, there are some people you're gonna say no to them. Sorry, I can't help you. You're gonna give them like free resources, recommend something for them.
Yeah, give them something.
Give them some, yeah, and you gotta give them something. That's there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you're really gonna help someone, that doesn't mean they own you for life. You need to be clear on what's exactly they are getting. Hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and it's very clear on the first, like this should be like on the first thing that you start, like on the onboarding. You say, hey, like here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Yes, I don't work on like weekends. I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this. Just be clear on things. Yes, you have access to me, but that doesn't mean like you call me every day. And
right.
Like you're just gonna be clear on certain things. And that doesn't mean you don't help people. You just need to be clear.
Yeah. There must
and be open to share that.
Yeah, you have to put the boundaries in. If you don't, there can be a lot of anxietous moments with clients. I had that in the early stages of my business development days, where people would call me at like 3 a.m. in New York, and I'm in Pacific Standard, and there's, oh, I'm sorry, dude, I completely forgot. I just had this thing on my mind. Like, sure, do you mind putting it in an email and sending it to me? I can't even see right now, dude. And they're like, yeah, no worries, I'm sorry. I learned after a while, it's like, look, if we're gonna be working together, send me an email. I got 24 hours. Because that's how important what I do at that time was. I got 24 hours. I will get back to you. I will either send you an email, or if it's super important, I'll be on the phone with you in 24 hours. That changed the whole environment for me. I mean, hugely changed environment for me. My business partners are the same way. There's certain days where I'm like, if I call, I do expect at least a text back. I'm busy, I'll get back to you. Cool, I'll wait. You got 24 hours. And they all know this. And it's the same with me. If they call me and I'm on a call, I text them back, I'll call you back. I got 24 hours. And the only reason that I do it that way is because, one, I value your time.
Exactly.
I also value mine. I can't drop what I'm doing, even if it's family stuff. I'm not just going to drop what I'm doing because your hair's on fire. My first thing is, why is your hair on fire? It shouldn't be if we're working together. I'm sure you're the same way. It's just setting the right boundaries, like you said, making sure that it's clear what I'm available for.
Exactly. Yeah, we got to be very clear on what exactly, because this is one of the biggest problems that I'm seeing, that people, what they are doing, like they promise like, oh, like I'm gonna be like, we're gonna do everything. You can't grab it anytime. You can like do, I gonna do whatever you want. Like, just anything, like I just gonna be for you there. Like if you're gonna text me, you can call me at any time. You can do this, you can do that. And if someone is starting out, like to be honest, I did that and you did that at certain points. We learned it the hard way.
Yeah.
But it's easier when you tell people, and at first, like the first time I did something like that, and I was saying like, oh my God, like people gonna hate me, and people gonna think that, oh, that's not good, and I'm charging that much, and people gonna think, oh, like what does it mean? I thought like I'm charging that much because like I have access to you like all day long. And the first time, like when I said that to someone, I said, okay, cool. No. I said, okay, cool. That's really good. So you're gonna do this, as you said, like within 24 hours. If during weekends you can text, you can do everything. That doesn't mean I have to, but sometimes I will, which I do sometimes. If I'm available or something, I can do. But if I don't, that's okay too. So you're gonna wait till Monday or something. And And then usually sometimes what's happening is not that urgent.
Right.
It's not like crazy thing. They just have an anxiety. I did this thing, or I posted the thing and it didn't work, or they think like it should have worked in a certain way and didn't. So like it's very important to have boundaries. It's not just more about boundaries. It's just more about they understand that you are there for them for a limit, because you can't just do everything for them. There are things that they have to do. So because this is another thing, because most people think that because I hired this guy, that means he's gonna do everything for me. Just gonna sit back. And like for some offers, that's gonna be the case. But I mean, sometimes if you are not really are going to do everything for them, you just need to be clear. Okay, like I'm gonna give you the copy, so I can write copy for you, but I'm not gonna drive traffic to it. You need to drive traffic to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is I'm not good at driving traffic. I don't know how to do that very well. So you gotta there are some people are helping me with that. I gotta tell you who are they, and they can help you if you need that.
Yep.
There are things that I'm gonna do, and if I write an email for someone, I say, okay, like send this email this at that time and send the second email at that time. So I'm not gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
You gotta do that yourself.
Yep.
If you're not doing that, and then you're gonna say, okay, like I posted the thing. I said, okay, and what happened? Oh, like it didn't work. What do you mean it didn't work?
Yeah, there you go.
What do you mean it didn't work? I said, like because you said this, but I changed it a bit because like I just felt like I said, no, you don't change. You don't change it. Like if you gotta talk, you just need to agree on things. You don't change it. You just do what I'm saying. And it's not what I'm saying. Like, it's not like I'm telling you, you have to do it that way. I'm telling you, like, all the time, I'm giving reason why. I tested it that way, and it works that way.
Yeah.
We are not expecting on the first email, on the second email, on the third email, but we are expecting that we will get specific certain KPIs that we are monitoring.
Yep.
And the most important thing that I'm looking for at the end of the day are also sales.
Sure.
Not just or like appointments. If someone is booking appointments, we are looking for that. This is what we are looking for. Oh, but my open rate is not like, man, like don't care about open rates right now. Like for God's sake, and sometimes they write something and they say, oh, like I got amazing like open rates. Like I say, okay, like what did you do? Like how many appointments did we book? Oh, we didn't book anything. I just like send them something and people loved it. Like they write like something like clickbait subject line and people open it, and then you gotta explain to them, okay, like first thing, people open an email, that doesn't mean they read it.
Yeah. OR is not the same as CTR. Not at all.
Like that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I can open an email and just read the first line and stop reading.
Yeah, that's well, considering how many emails I get, that's usually what I do. Half the email subject lines, I'm like, I already know what they're going to talk about. Click, gone. If it's really interesting and not one of the clickbait ones, I'll open it up. And if there's some decent content, I'll read it. But again, like you said, click through to an actual sale. That's the one that matters. CTR again doesn't mean an actual sale. Conversion is a different story. Again, if you have good content at the outside of the funnel, the top of the funnel, great. You'll start bringing through the people, but you got to remember, sales is still, and even marketing, still to run the numbers. It's going to be how many people you can get through that funnel to drop down the center where the actual sale is. Thankfully, most people, if you do it right, which I'm sure this is what you do with content writing, if you do it right, most people will walk themselves out of the funnel that don't qualify.
That's amazing. Like, I was helping someone at that time, and I told her to send a specific email. And she was giving a story like about like someone who didn't get results with her. And she didn't really, and like we were saying, literally, if you are that person, like unsubscribe right now, because I really can't help you. Clear, very, very straightforward.
Yep.
And she got like unsubscribe tons. And she said like, oh, you know what the piece? I said, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That means you got a lot of people who are really those people who read it. They read the thing. They knew that you are not going to help them.
Yep.
And they, as you said, they qualify themselves. Say, okay, like I'm not that guy. This is not going to work for me, or I don't want to work that way, or this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a specific thing, or I'm looking. So that's amazing. If I need someone to say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work. I said, man, that's the best thing ever.
Yep.
Thank you so much for saving my time and your time.
Oh.
And this is like returning back to the main point that we were talking about before, that you need to know who is not your avatar, who is not your market, and be very clear on that, and be willing to say no.
Yeah.
Not just yes. Be willing to say no to people. Be willing to take the action that's gonna make people disqualify themselves and say, you know what, I don't think this is gonna work for me. So if you tell someone, like, if you're looking for people who are putting some criteria, like I said, okay, like, hey, I'm not a god. I'm not gonna solve like your life's problem. This is exactly what we need to work on. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what you're gonna do. If you can't do this, I can't do that. This is simple. So if you can't deliver on this, there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
You can take everything and just do it. Now it's okay that at certain point, and I'm not saying that you say it like in a mean way. You just say it in a tough love way, like, hey, like, you want to succeed and they want to succeed too.
Yep.
And I want to help you to achieve that. And the best way to help you achieve that by telling you how I know that you will succeed. I'm telling you the criteria of success in my book. And if you can follow that, it will be easier for me and easier for you.
Yep. Yep. It's probably one of the best lessons I think that's come out of any of our Java chats for marketers, because most times marketing guys talk about how to get them. This is the first time I've actually had a deep conversation with regards to who you don't want to go get, because these can also become problem children if they do become clients. Had that run into. Guys, we're going to take one more 30-second break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what Khaled's up to and where you can find him and all that stuff. You know, the fun part. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds. And we're back here, Java Chat, Coffee with Mike, hanging out with, I'm going to say it, the Khaled Maziad. And the reason why I say that is because it's like the first time somebody's actually come in and just shot some truth out there and saying, you know what, you got to know who you don't want. You got to know who you don't want to work with before you get yourself in trouble. And it can definitely end up that way. But coming to this section, we want to talk about what Khaled actually does. And he is in fact a high ticket consultant when it comes to creating copy and things of that nature. Describe for us what it is that you do.
Okay. So right now we are helping people with their emails.
Nice.
And what we are doing at the moment is, most people actually are, you know, like what's happening on Facebook right now, and people like are getting slapped.
Oh yeah,
with their ads, or whether like you can say whatever you want right now anywhere.
Really?
Like actually, to be honest, I stopped using like Facebook myself for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Like I didn't post anything out there, and it's really interesting because I made this mistake when I started, because I got almost like 90% of my clients from Facebook when I started.
Sure, most of us did. That's where it was.
And what's happened is that I was just like talking to people on Messenger, which was great and amazing, but I made the biggest mistake ever. I wasn't collecting their emails.
Oh.
So I didn't have a list. And this and the problem is with that, when I start to realize, okay, like actually one of my clients told me, like, I noticed that you don't send any emails. And that was like 3 years ago. And I said,
ding,
like,
ding, ding, ding.
I said, like, yeah, but I don't send emails because you guys already signed up. So why should I send emails? And like, I was thinking like, why is that? And then I learned like, oh, like I was doing it wrong too. And this is when I started to realize that the email game is what we need to be working on. Like, if you're not working on it right now, like you need to start working on that. Because another problem that I see, like I had a client that I started working with recently, and he has like a huge list and like 15,000 or something. Wow. I said, like, how many times are you emailing them? I said, no, I never emailed them. I said, what do you mean you never emailed them? He said, like, yeah, his system is like that. Facebook ads, they book a call, they buy or don't, and they are gone. And I said,
oh, how much money has left on the table? Oh no.
And I said, like, oh my God. So I said, do you have like 15,000 people now? And like most of them, they never heard from him like in ages.
Super gold right there, buddy.
Exactly. And then what we started doing is, okay, like let's start sending emails to them. I said, hey, but the first time, like we gotta get people who gotta unsubscribe, we're gonna get some spam complaints because some people forgot you already.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're gonna say the first email, like very, hey, like you maybe remember me, we put his like photo there so people might like remember him because he was doing video ads at that time. So maybe they can remember. And then we start doing the engagement from there, like, hey, like if you would like to stay with us, we're gonna have this series, and then we start doing the series with them. And we are working on that right now. We are doing emails in a way that it's not just, hey, I'm doing this, because some people are just emailing if they are doing something. Yeah. Which means, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this thing. Sign up. I'm doing.
That's all the affiliate marketer stuff. That's what that runs.
Yeah. Instead of telling people, hey, contact them all the time, talk to them, build a relationship with them, and tell them whatever you are doing along the way, instead of just relying on whenever I have something, I'm gonna do it for you. Yeah. And they only see you when you want them to buy something from you or you do something. So we are focusing on like telling stories, not just inspirational stories, because most people focus on motivational stories, which is great, but we also focus on horror stories, problems that's happened. And we have like a system that we work on that, on how actually to write those stories. Actually, we do it ourselves, like for people right now. Actually, I was doing also coaching, but I right now I'm not doing coaching anymore because I have been very busy, like in the last 3 months.
This is good news.
We are not, yeah. So we are not actually doing any coaching at the moment. But like, if someone would like, we can have a chat about that. So yeah, like it's more about the email game. How to really make sure that you're not losing the people, because some people like have those groups, Facebook groups, but they are not really.
Yeah, they're not engaged. It's just a group.
They are not engaged with the people, and you're gonna have them. And even like if something gonna happen tomorrow on Facebook, you lost those people, like because you don't own your Facebook group. It's gone. Like if something happened, it's gone. But if you have their email, and if you are contacting them, not just relying on one source or one media, then you can keep engaging with them. And whenever you want them, they're gonna be there for you. And you can instead use like their emails to retarget them and do all the fun stuff, like, you're a marketing guy, them being that. So you can do all this fun stuff too. So like collecting emails, and some people are gonna say, oh, like this is an old thing. Like you will be surprised how many people are not utilizing their emails.
A lot more than most people would think.
Yes.
And even with us, we're restructuring some of our stuff with our emails too, because we have a couple of different lists for different things. And the engagement that we had was decent. things got real busy there for a while, so it got a little difficult to keep up with. So we're getting back to restructuring that, putting that back together, getting the escalation. And all that. Yeah, with what we do, a lot of the AI that we use, most people don't know it. So we're a little ahead of the curve, the kind of the bleeding edge stuff. But emails are still, this is an opinion. There are probably some stats out there that will challenge me on this. We're still quite confident that emails are a great way, like you said, one, to build relationships, and two, to be able to bring people along. I've never thought that emails were supposed to be sellers. They're there to bring your potential clients alongside you so they can see what you're up to. And if they really think it's for them, that they can go ahead and say, hey, I'm interested in a little more. So it's a great thing. Where can people find you for this service? I mean, what's your website?
My website is Khaled Maziad, so they can find them. So my first name, like the easiest way to remember my name is remember DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled.
It's the easiest way ever to remember my first name. So just put it like, all I know is win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well,
so,
that link will be down in that link goes down in the bottom. So all of the links always end up in the comments, so listeners know that for YouTube and also on Anchor. Can they find you on social?
Yeah, on Facebook also. Like you can find me. I'm not that active like before, but yeah, of course, like you can still reach out on Facebook.
Are you also on LinkedIn or any place else?
On LinkedIn, yes, we are on LinkedIn too.
Okay,
so
good. That's good. And you're currently open to take clients right now? Not for coaching, but like actual clients.
Not for coaching. Yeah, for right now, yes, we can, like, we have a waiting list actually, because like we are at the end of the year and things. But yeah, like if there is someone that we know that we really can help, we definitely can talk about that. Yeah.
Awesome. What about you personally? Are you up to anything? You going to be speaking anywhere? Are you writing any books or anything? Or like that? That's a hint, by the way.
Yeah. Actually, this is one of the problems that I'm having, that I should start working on something, and we have been talking like about a book. We are still talking about the name and things, but yeah, like definitely. In 2022, I believe on the first half, we're going to be releasing something out.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to be back on Java Chat to talk about that book. Is that
absolutely?
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. Well, listen, this has been an excellent chat, and thank you, Khaled, for coming on and sharing your insights and your wisdom. It's nice to actually have a nice chat with a good colleague.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having me. I really appreciate that. It was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely be doing it again, guys. For those of you that are watching, don't forget the links to find Khaled are down below. Make sure if you do have a newsletter that they can subscribe to.
Yes.
Perfect.
It's on my website. Yeah, they
can. Make sure you guys subscribe to that newsletter. I'm sure there's going to be some great content in there. Follow them on social. If you're watching us on YouTube, I always say this: subscribe and hit the bell next to the subscribe button, so you know when we get another good guest like this one. If you're listening to us on any of the 11 platforms that we're syndicated to, download, subscribe, leave a review, please. Especially if you're listening on iTunes. We always appreciate reviews, good or bad, doesn't matter to me. I keep going back to this. I have one hater so far, so I'm kind of there, almost. It's. Who is it?
We need to work harder, Mike.
We need to work harder. Not pissing off enough people. Bob Kennedy said it best: if you're not pissing off somebody a day, at least once a day, you're not doing it right. If you're listening to us on Anchor.fm, that's our home base. We are listener supported, so we would love your support as well. If you have any ideas too, people that we should bring on that we can do this with or have a chat with, hit us up. Send us a note on any of our videos, and just we'll check it out. You have a question for Khaled, and you're watching on YouTube, put it down in the comments. He'll have this link. He'll be able to check in on it once in a while. Might be something that is relevant to his niche, and he can possibly give you some advice. Biggest one, go follow him and go get on his newsletter. For me, the biggest one is somebody else might benefit from this particular podcast. In particular, because of the fact that we were talking about who you don't want as far as your client. you can send this to them. You can send them the link. Whatever, whether it's YouTube or Anchor or whatever, send them the link. Let them go listen to it. It'll help them as much as it might help you, and obviously it helps us. Spread the wealth. This is gold knowledge. There's a gold nugget in every one of these. Make sure you're doing that. We thank you for making the time and taking the time to come and listen to us, to come and hang out with us, to have a cup of Java with us. We'll be back again real soon. Just, keep an eye on our channels, and stay up, stay safe, stay healthy, and live. For myself, Coffee with Mike and Khaled Maziad. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
For more information on Java Chat, visit www.javachatpodcast.com. You've been listening to Coffee with Mike on Java Chat. Tune in weekly to this podcast for the next episode. You can also download or subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. A production of Oasis Media Group, LLC. Located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved.